everyone, this is Nihareeka Ghadge and I welcome you on behalf of YLCC. In our series of interviews, today we have with us Aditi Choudhary and Rudra Athray from NUJS. Both of them, being in their third year, have recently emerged as the runners-up in the first edition of the Allen Overy NLUJ Jodhpur International Deal Negotiation Competition. And we have hence invited them here to share their experience with you all today. So without a further ado, let us begin with the session. Before we begin with the questions, how would you like to briefly introduce yourself to the audience?
Everybody, I'm Aditi Choudhary. I'm a third year student at the West Bengal National University of Juridical Sciences. I've been a member of a lot of societies over my time here at the university, but primarily the EDR Society, or the Alternate Dispute Resolution Society, has been one of my primary interests. I've also been a member of the Moot Court Society and the Constitutional Law Society, and I've also participated in the intra-events of the university conducted by all of these societies over the years as well.
Hi, I'm Rudra Athray, and as explained, I'm also a third-year law student from NUJS. I am, a few things about me, I'm the co-convener of the NUJS ADR Society, and I'm on the board of editors of the NUJS Law Review. I've also been somewhat involved when it comes to alternative dispute resolution, and I'm very interested in negotiation and mediation. Thank you for having us today.
Beginning with the questions. So how would you describe your competition journey, focusing on the preparation stage, and what was the model of the competition and what was the preparation strategy of yours?
So I can take that question. So when it came to our preparation for this competition, what we realized was something that helped us the most was having a very supportive coach. For the duration of this competition, we took help from one of very valued alumni, Mr. Abhishek Shankar. He has continually extended his support during the process of our preparation, be it strategy papers, be it negotiation strategies right before the rounds itself. So I think having a coach, a very reliable support system in that regard, is something that really bolstered our preparation. I think apart from that, there are a few more things, such as really diving in depth when it comes to the concepts involved with the problems and other things related to that. But I think Aditi can really delve a bit more on that point.
So broadly, Rudra has covered the preparation with which we went into the competition. Just something I'd like to add is that what really, at least for me, what I've understood over time is that what really matters is the kind of competition that you're going for. So for IDNC, it was a deal negotiation competition. So our preparation was a lot more towards the commercial aspect of problems and reading up on basic corporate law so that we weren't taken completely blindsided when we went into the competition. And in that regard, Abhishek was a huge, huge help. Because he's practicing in this field right now, he could really give us an insight into the actual practical applications of a lot of things we'd studied in our course. So I think that's all that there was to it.
So how different would you say the competition was from the other negotiation competitions that you had been a part of till now?
So I think, so before IDNC, Rudra and I, we've represented NUJS in multiple other EDR competitions as a team. So a lot of competitions that we've been in earlier, such as IMSG Singapore and a couple more, we realized that a very stark difference in IDNC was that it was a deal negotiation competition, which meant that a very heavy focus towards when it came to scoring and when it came to deciding which team won in the out rounds was decided upon the deal which was cracked at the end of the round. So rather than focusing simply on stylistics, the way we spoke and the areas that we covered, a very large aspect was how much of the confidential information and how much of the general information were we able to understand, comprehend, and propose it in such a way that we were able to get what was required from us at the end of the round.
Yes, and just building upon what Aditi said, I think the very evident leaning towards the commercial side of things, which is something that's very rare to see in competitions that at least I have taken part in the past, is something I personally found really interesting and something that really stood out, where every problem that came our way was very commercial in nature, had something to do with mergers or acquisitions or any other such commercial transactions. So it really required us to go beyond what we've learned, let's say in law school or in class, and really apply the extra knowledge that we've achieved either through our own research or like speaking to seniors and like.
So negotiation competitions are not very predictable given the confidential information aspect, right? So did it happen that you have to come up with an alternative strategy born out of on the feet thinking maybe? So that is not what you planned for, that did not was not included in your strategy, and still you had to opt for it. Also, if you could tell us as to what all went in alignment with your preparation and what was like completely born out of impromptu thinking.
I could maybe answer the first half of that question, and Aditi, you could maybe take the second half. So when it came to on-the-feet thinking, I think that is something that is very common when it comes to negotiation competitions. I think the drafters try very hard to throw you off in the confidential information. So while we ourselves were preparing with the strategy paper and the general information prior to the competition, we had a few hypotheticals that we jotted down that we were ready with. But I think when you do receive the confidential information, a lot of those hypotheticals, they just go out the window, and you're just playing with the cards that you're dealt with. So at those times, being on your feet, really not being bogged or too flustered by how different the confidential information actually is becomes very important. And really going into that problem solving, creative thinking mode is something that this competition tested a lot. And it's something that we ourselves relied upon as well.
Absolutely. Also, another thing which was a difference in format compared to the competition we'd done before. In IDNC, we weren't told which party we'd be representing in the round till 30 minutes before the round started. So we were given the confidential as well as the party which we would be representing only half an hour before the beginning of the actual round. And the confidential information was very heavy. So it had a lot of numbers, it had a lot of details, which took us a lot of time to understand, but also to be able to amalgamate into what we'd initially strategized. So I think even though ADR as an activity, it requires you to be very quick on your feet, I think especially in this competition, that forms such a big part of how you end up performing, because in those 30 minutes, it's very easy to get flustered. Something that happened to us to a certain degree in the first preliminary round, because we weren't accustomed to that kind of pressure. But slowly over the rounds, as the rounds went on, we figured out that rather than getting flustered, whatever we have, whatever we've understood, whatever strategy we've come up with, we just need to put our best foot forward. So I think that's it.
All right, guys, that was a wonderful session. Thank you for being here and interacting with us. We hope the audience will benefit immensely from your experience. I, on behalf of YLCC, wish you all the best for your future ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.